Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 7 of the Best Day Ever podcast. This is a podcast about all things crafty and a glimpse into my crafting journey, but it is also where we celebrate with you why every day spent crafting makes for the best day ever. My name is Trisha, and I can be found on Instagram and Ravelry as Tie Dye Diva. And show notes can be found in the Ravelry group, which is also called the Best Day Ever podcast, and also on my web space, which is tiedyedivacrafts.blogspot.com. And I will link to both of those locations in the description box for this episode. So, if we have any new viewers, welcome to the podcast, and thank you all for coming back to the returning viewers. I really appreciate it. Today I have some finished objects to share with you. I have some works in progress, a couple of new works in progress since we last talked, and let's see, some sewing talk. I've been able to finish a couple of sewing items, maybe one, and one almost complete that I'll share with you. So I hope you are relaxed, and maybe you have your craft of choice with you in your most comfortable chair, as well as a soothing drink. I am having a cup of tea. This is a cup of chamomile I decided to have tonight. It's been a really stressful week, and chamomile is supposed to be a stress reliever and soothing. As a matter of fact, that's what the box actually says. It says it's a gentle and soothing caffeine-free infusion. And after the week I have had, I could use that. And that's kind of sad because it's only Tuesday. But yeah, it's a lot going on, and I won't go into a lot of detail about that because this is a happy place, and it's a place where we get to really celebrate why we're so blessed to have crafts in our life to help us get through some of the more difficult times. So this is the tea that I'm having today is Taylor's, and I'm not a tea snob. I know I like good flavors, and I know what flavors I like in tea. I like for my teas to be pretty earthy and definitely soothing. So this is Taylor's of Harrogate, and I have purchased several of their teas. I think I've tried their Earl Grey and a couple of other blends, but I didn't realize that they're actually out of Yorkshire, New England. And it does say that it's a USDA organic tea, which is really nice. I get a lot of my teas from, believe it or not, TJ Maxx or Marshall's. They have a gourmet food section, and I have oftentimes purchased a lot of things from their gourmet food sections. There's specialty olive oils and balsamic vinegars and specialty cookies and snacks and candies and things. And you can oftentimes find some very interesting things, even some international things from Marshalls and TJ Maxx. But you didn't come here to talk about shopping. You came here to talk about crafts. So let's get started. Before I get into the finished object, I do want to announce the prize winners for last month's giveaway. And just to let you know, if you're new to the podcast, I give away a prize once a month to someone who posts about their best day ever moment. Basically, whatever it is you're really excited about in your crafting world, anything really special that's happened in that month, just head on over to the Ravelry group, join the group, and share with us. And I draw a name every month. And the Ravelry group is really small and intimate right now, so your chances of winning are really good. I didn't write down how many entries we had. I think it was about 11 or 12. And I chose a name by random number generator, and random number generator chose number 3, who is Winter Rose. Her real name is Carolyn. So congratulations, Carolyn. You're our prize winner for the month of June. And Carolyn says, I think my best day crafting is when, let me start over with that. I think my best day crafting is when I decided to start knitting every day. It's been a wonderful form of stress relief, and I learn something new every day. So, yes, Carolyn, I can definitely identify with that statement. Crafting is a huge stress reliever. I tend to be the kind of person who, when something is going on, I can just replay all the scenarios and all the worst case scenarios, and I've just played different stories out of my mind about how a thing can end up, and usually it's in the negative, and usually, and never does it turn out the way I play it out in my mind. And I just have to stop myself from doing it. Does anyone else do that? Sometimes I just have to say, Trisha, just stop, relax, breathe, calm down, pray, get your knitting, and just relax. And just sometimes I just have to force myself to just think about something else or do something else. So I can definitely identify with that statement. So Carolyn, thank you so much for sharing with us. Thanks for being a part of the podcast. And I guess it'd be a good idea if I actually showed you what you're going to win. I'm not sure if I showed what the prize was on the last episode. But anyway, you're going to receive this Yarn Pop project bag. It's the Yarn Pop are the bags that have a little hole, little grommeted hole, and it allows you to carry your yarn through the hole so that you can knit on the go. And you'll also be receiving these 2 skeins of yarn from Sistari. The color is Green Heather, and it is a 2-ply sock yarn. But what I think is really interesting about this is it's 193 yards per skein. It's a cotton wool blend, 75% cotton, 25% wool. So this color is pretty accurate. It's like a really spring green. And you can see the heathery bits in there. And this is really nice because it would be nice to have a pair of summer socks. I don't wear my hand-knit socks in the summer unless I'm sick and I'm like laid up for a couple of days and I want to be cozy. I really reserve my socks for the winter, so it would be nice to have a yarn where I could make a pair of summer socks. So this is definitely labeled as a sock yarn from Sistari. And I'm going to also include this little partial I had left over, just in case you want to do some heels and toes and cuffs in a contrast color. I thought this would be really fun. This is Plucky Feet. I think I had this left over from my Find Your Fade shawl, which is an Andre Maury pattern. So I'm going to include this in here in case you want to do some trimming either on a pair of socks or whatever. You could do a shawl or a toy or whatever you want to include. And I'm also going to include this Progress Keeper from 29 Bridges. I believe 29 Bridges Studio is a new indie dyed yarn company, and this was included in something I purchased at a I think at Homespun Yarn Party this year. I'll tell you a little bit more about Homespun Yarn Party on another episode. So yes, the Yarn Pop bag, 2 skeins of yarn, the partial, and a Progress Keeper. So again, Carolyn, thank you for playing along. Thank you for being a part of the group. And please get in touch with me. Send me your address and I'll get this sent right out to you. So let's talk about some of the things I've been busy with. If you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen some of these things. So let me show you. The first thing I want to share with you are my socks, which are called the Shine Bright socks. And these, let me just show you before I start talking about them. I absolutely love these. I'm going to stand back so you can probably get a better view of them. And I'm going to bring one a little bit closer to the camera. I was scolded very kindly by one of my good friends, Kenneth, if you're watching. He said that I'm never showing the pictures good enough because I show it just for a little while. So I'm taking my time, Kenny. This is for you so you can actually see the sock. So the Shine Bright sock is a patterned sock, as you can see. It alternates between a textured diamond motif and a lace diamond motif. And the lace diamond motif has a little bit of lace right in the center. Let me take this off of the blocker so you can actually see the pattern in this sock. Yeah, you can see it a lot better when I open it up this way. So there's the lace diamond and there's the textured diamond. And it goes the full length of the sock. And the back of the sock is just plain vanilla. The heel is a German short row heel, which is a new to me technique that I really enjoy doing. That it's just it's a really interesting an interesting technique to do. It's not difficult, but it's different and it's unlike anything I've ever done. But I do like the result. It's nice and smooth. There's no hole. There's no stitch to pick up to avoid a hole. I love it. I think I would definitely do it again. The ribbing at the top is a twisted rib. You can see that. And they were knit toe up. The yarn that I used is Plucky Feet, which I believe is a 75-25, 75 merino, 25 nylon. But it's definitely a merino nylon blend, and just a wonderful sock base. Squishy, very nice to work with. You know, that sock yarn that's just crisp and squishy all at the same time. Just an absolute delight. And it was really nice because I was able to, I had quite a bit of yarn left over, and it's definitely going to end up going into my sock yarn memories blanket at some point very soon. So yeah, these are the Shine Bright socks. And I think I mentioned who the designer is, Zakia of Lady Wing Designs, as well as the Lady Wing Crafts podcast. So definitely check her out. I'm not sure how many patterns Zakia has done, but she is a new designer. And I was very honored to be chosen as a test knitter for these socks. And an honor to support a new upcoming designer. So great job, Zakia, on these. I absolutely love them, and I'm looking forward to wearing them this winter. I think that's all I have to say about those. So the next finished object that I am so excited about is my Millie sweater by Nice and Knit. She is done, she is blocked, and she is ready to go. I'm going to hold this up and hopefully you will get a feel for the design and style of this sweater. So we started out with some ribbing at the neck, and it comes down into a very long dolman sleeve and ends up I would say elbow length sleeves, and you've got some ribbing going on there. And before you do your ribbing, you do a row of purl, which is really nice, gives you a nice separation there. And of course the bottom is also ribbed. There was supposed to be a row of purl there too, but I forgot to do it. But it's fine. The yarn that I'm using is the Nice and Knit. I believe it's called their sock base. Let me be absolutely sure about that. Yep, it is their their sock base. It is a light fingering, and it is 100% merino wool. Absolute delight in working with this yarn. It is a light fingering. It was very Very soft, but very nice to work with. It's a light fingering, but very substantial, if that makes any sense. Because I did use a US 7 to knit the body of the sweater. The ribbing was done on a US 4. And so but it's not loose. As you can see the gauge on there. It's sheer and it's light, but it's not loose. It's just, it definitely has a very substantial fabric. I will definitely be wearing a tank under this, because even though it's a light fingering, it's wool and it's warm. I took some pictures outside. I'm going to actually insert those right here. So I took some pictures outside on a fairly pleasant evening. But even just having it on, I think it was about low 80s. This sweater, it will keep you warm. So don't underestimate fingering weight sweaters in wool. Even if you knit them at a loose gauge, they're going to keep you warm. That's why we love our wools. But I also want you to see the beautiful dye work in there. They knocked it out of the park. The color is crab cake, and they really captured it really well. Crab cake color. This was a specialty color for Maryland Sheep and Wool and the pop-up shop that the Knot House had. And I'm very happy to have been able to snag a couple of skeins to knit this sweater. Another thing I love about this sweater, besides the fact that I think it just really complements my particular body shape, is that I used, I think I only used 2¼ skeins to knit this. Did I put down exactly how much yarn it took? I should have wrote the exact amount of yarn, but I am certain that I had, well, let me just show you what I had left over. I did alternate skeins. One skein was significantly darker than the other, and you could probably see from the neck, because that's the skein that I started with. So the neck is a lot darker, and I think this is that skein there. And I had all of this yarn left over, which is about 80 grams. So if each skein was 100 grams, that means that I used about 220 grams to knit this one, just a little over 2 skeins of yarn, which is amazing for a plus size sweater. Even at even if I had knit this with long sleeves, I could have gotten away with just 3 skeins, I believe. So the yarn it's beautiful. It's very soft and lofty, and I can't say enough good things about it. I definitely look forward to purchasing more of this base and some other colors that they've done, because that was fun. Okay, so that's it for the actual finished items that I have to show you. Let me show you something that I've shown you before, which is my flat iron shawl. I have made a little bit of progress on this. And again, this is hanging out in my KC Pockets to Go bag, which features this beautiful African wax print and a canvas on both sides. Beautiful, beautiful bag. So the reason I'm going to show you my flat iron shawl again is because I've moved on into the second color. Now this is done in crochet, And the flat iron shawl is single crochet throughout and some increases and decreases, which creates this slightly asymmetric look. I don't know if you can, let me see if I can start from the one end. And I didn't realize crochet curls in so much. There we go. And this piece here is kind of like curled in. So this is going to definitely need a good blocking, but I love the way those stripes look. So I'm plugging along on this. I definitely don't crochet as fast as I knit, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the slow process of it, and this yarn is absolutely beautiful. This is Neighborhood Fiber Company Fingering. It is their single ply, and let me make sure I get the name correct. Let's see here. I don't want to say the name wrong, but it's definitely a Neighborhood Fiber Company base, and it's a single ply. It might just be single rustic fingering. Yes, that's the name of it. The rustic fingering. There we go. And I have a Sucra miniature progress keeper keeping me company with this project. And as you can see, it is a watermelon martini. I could use one of those right now. Can you see that? So adorable. Yep. So yeah, so I have finished the striping of the first section, and now I'm going to move on into just some wonderful meditative single crochet in the solid color. And this is the color that I'm working with next, this beautiful grayish purple, which I believe does not have a name. The lighter pink is Montserrat, and then this blue is going to end the skein, and this also does not have a name. So I'm very much looking forward to finishing this, and just to let you know what it's going to look like when it's all said and done. That's probably how I will style it. And let me see if I can get a better picture for you. There we go. So you can definitely download this pattern on Ravelry. It is a paid-for pattern, but it's very well written and very enjoyable. If you're a knitter and you want to delve into crochet, this is a really good pattern to try out, because it kind of mimics what we as knitters, the shapes of shawls that we're used to working with in knitting. And yeah, so I'm really enjoying the process. I meant to also tell you about this cup. This was a gift. This cup set was gifted to me after was it last year? It was in 2015. I think I had surgery, and a good friend came and bought me a goodie bag, and it included this beautiful cup, excuse my lipstick, on the side there with peacocks. And it also has a saucer to match, so it's a set of two. So yeah, it makes me really, really happy whenever I pull this teacup out, because it makes me think of the gift that I received, and it makes me think back to that time after surgery where you're feeling just absolutely horrible. And now here I am feeling pretty good again. And so it just reminds us that no matter what's going on negative, it too shall pass, correct? One way or another. Okay, we've got one more whip to show before we get into the sewing corner. And I'm trying to prevent an avalanche over here. So here, hanging out in a handmade project bag. I think I showed this bag on my very first episode. It's just, I call this, I don't know what I call it, but it is a huge, not huge, oversized sweater bag. I always have an issue with finding a bag to put my sweaters in when I'm knitting them, because I am a larger person, and so my sweaters are larger, of course, and I like to have everything on hand when I start my project. So, and when the sweater gets to be a certain size, then the smaller bags, they just don't cut it. So I want to be able to have room for my yarn that I'm using. These three still need to be wound up. I want to have room for my notions pouch, an extra pair of glasses, and yeah, I just like it to be super roomy without feeling like I'm stuffing my sweater in my bag. And there it is, and I still have room for more stuff. So this is just a very simple tutorial that I followed from the Crafty Gemini, and I used a kente cotton print, and I lined it with just a solid orange cotton. I believe this is just a basic broadcloth I picked up from Joann Fabric, I think. And then I just made the straps, not the straps, but the drawstring. So it does have a drawstring pull. And this is where I keep my pin that Arthella, who is Eris Knits on Ravelry, gave all of us knitters in the DMV area at our last knit together. And it's our stick together pin. All right, so without further delay, let me tell you what the sweater is. The sweater that I am knitting is called the Dog Walker, and it is a Plucky Knitter design. And I'm knitting this in Plucky Traveler Aran, which is a discontinued base. The color is Triple Crown, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I sent a picture to my friend Sandy in Seattle. She was shocked that I wasn't knitting this sweater in orange. She's knitting the sweater also, but she knows how much I love orange. But yeah, sometimes I do deviate from orange. So Traveler Aran is 220 yards per skein, and it is a 65-20-15 blend of mulberry silk, merino, and yak. So 65% merino, 20% silk, and 15% yak, which equals just absolute luxury. It is an Aran weight, so it is just so plump and just so squishy soft. I'm really, really enjoying this project. So the Dog Walker is a top-down sweater, and I'm knitting the body on a US 10, which is a 6.0 millimeter, and the ribbing is being done, I should say, on a size 8. Excuse me, US size 8, 5.0 millimeter needle. And here is my Dog Walker sweater. Very well written, very simple, easy to follow. It flies off of the needles on that US 10. There's also an option in the pattern to knit it a worsted weight, so you could knit it worsted weight if you like. And yeah, it's just simple top-down construction. I really like the way that the pattern is written for the front, because it helps. This what creates this really nice scoop. After the sweater is finished, after the sleeves are done, I will come in and pick up for a turtleneck collar. And at that point, I will determine how high I want that turtleneck to go. The pattern is written for it to be a full turtleneck that you fold over, but I'm not sure if my body chemistry is gonna agree with that. if you know what I mean. But look at that fit. I can tell already this is going to be just really just the perfect fit. I did try it on. It's looking good. Um, yeah, I don't know what more I can say about this except that I am really, really enjoying this. And I'm looking forward to hooking up some really pretty, can you imagine some pretty gold eyeshadow with this to just to play off those golds, and maybe a bright red lip or maybe a bright orange lip. Yeah, so I've already moved on to the ribbing. Like I said, this sweater just flies off of the needles, and the ribbing is a broken rib. One row is a knit one, purl one, and the next row is a knit. So this goes pretty quick, again on US 8 needles. And I've got a few more rows to go on the ribbing, and then I'll be moving on to sleeves. So this will be another sweater for the year of the sweater very soon, I hope. Definitely looking forward to finishing this. Feels like I may have spilled something on this. Oh, I know what that is. I think I spilled some coffee cream on that this past weekend. Long story, clumsy me. Anyway, yep, I'm really enjoying that sweater, and I think that's all I have to share with you as far as stitching and knitting and crocheting. So let's move on into a little bit of sewing talk. I had talked about this pair of black and white gingham pants that I've been wanting. I think I've been talking about them for the past few episodes, and they were done. The actual body of the pants were done, but they were just hanging on my door here, waiting to be hemmed, waiting for the elastic to be put in the waist. I don't know what took me so long. Anyway, they are done, and I wore them to work today, and they were a hit. I got so many compliments on those pants. Comfortable. I'm going to insert a few pictures here so you can tell me what you think about them. So I meant to actually bring them with me, but they're in the room, and I don't want to break up the um, the video. But just to say that this is the pattern that I use. It's a simplicity pattern that I have been going to over and over again. Simplicity 3506, and there's a dress option, there is a skirt option, there's a belt in here. These are the pants that I sewed. I just cut them off at about here, and there's a jacket option. So I've sewn this skirt so many times. I may be able to insert some pictures of the few skirts that I've sewn with this pattern. I am not a fan of doing waistbands, only because I carry a lot of weight in my midsection, and it's just not comfortable. And I'm really at that point in life. I mean, I'm not old. I'm only 52. I'll be 52 next month, I believe. I can't keep track anymore. Anyway, I'm in my 50s, and I know what I'm comfortable in. It's not that I want to settle and just wear anything, because I do enjoy looking nice. I'm not high fashion by any means, but I like to look nice, but I think being comfortable is just as important as looking nice. And I'm on this quest, I guess you could say, for finding my style. What is it that complements my figure the best? What is it that I'm comfortable in? And I think I figured that out. I like flowy tops. I like loose fitting clothing. But sometimes loose fitting can look sloppy and just like oversized, and that's not flattering either. So, you know, clothing that's got some shaping going on in the chest area, and then that maybe flares out over my midsection, which is larger, and pants that fit closer in the leg and closer down the leg. I like leggings and slim jeans, and so slimmer on the bottom and more voluminous on top, if that makes sense. That's just what I like. And so as I look at patterns that I sew and garments that I knit, those are the types of things that I'm looking for. I think that's why I favor raglans so much, because I can get them to fit really close under the arms, and then I can always increase for the bottom to let it flare out instead of clinging to my body. So that's why I love this pattern here, because this skirt here, let me try to get up close so you can see. View C, it's 4 panels. Although it's just 2, I think it's just 1 pattern piece, and you cut 2 pieces for each, for the front and to the back. So you've got 4 seams. You got a seam down the middle and on the sides and in the back. And it's something about, it's like almost like a slight trumpet look. It's so flattering and it's so comfortable. And even though it has elastic in the waist, and even though you're using a woven fabric, it's not made for a knit, it is made for a woven fabric. So it's fitting just a little closer in the midsection. You've got the comfort of the elastic, and then it just flows off of you at the bottom. And depending on what fabrics you use, the possibilities are endless. So this is a go-to. It's this pant pattern also, which is what I sewed the gingham pants out of. They fit really well, and the possibilities are endless with that as well, as far as colors, as far as prints. I cannot wait to make a pair of using my Ankara African fabric, because I think I mentioned once before I have a lot of it. And I also added pockets to the yes, I added pockets to the pants. The pattern does not call for pockets, but what I did was I went to cashmerette.com. If you go to cashmerette.com, they actually have a free pattern for a pocket. So I downloaded the pocket, and you can see it's, you cut the pocket on the bias, and you can find any YouTube, there's lots of YouTube tutorials to tell you how to install a pocket. I love pockets, because pockets to me are like what bacon is to food. It just makes everything better, right? So this is really exciting for me, because I'm finding patterns that I'm finding I don't need to buy a whole bunch more patterns. Just if I get that one that fits perfectly, depending on what fabrics I'm using, I can just do so many wonderful things, and that makes me very, very excited. So I'm so glad that those pants are done. And what else have I? Oh, so one other, the top that I'm wearing. This is a top that I made last year. This is called the Akita top, and this is from seamwork.com. So this is how the Akita top looks. This was a really fun project. Believe it or not, very interesting construction. You look at this top and you think it's just 2 pieces, maybe cut on a fold. That's not how it's constructed at all. And I am 100% certain that this is a free pattern, so I'm not giving much away. I sure hope not. I'm almost sure. Yeah, I'm certain it's a free pattern. So this is what the pattern looks like. And if you're scratching your head, I was too when I first saw this pattern. But as you can see here, this is the part of the pattern that gets put on the fold, and then you open it up, and this is your front, and there's your darts, and this is your back. Just genius. My only complaint about this pattern is, as you can see, there is absolutely no shaping in this pattern at all. It goes up to a size 26, which is a 54-inch bust, which should fit me well. But the last one I made, I had to make a lot larger. But because I love this pattern so much, I will still give it a high rating. But I will say that if you like this, the simplicity of it, and you want to try it, to really be careful in your measurements and make sure you're getting, it's going to fit you, or just cut it out a little larger if you want it to flow. It's really not intended to flow. It's really intended to be just a woven t-shirt. But if you want a little extra space, then just keep in mind you may have to make a few alterations. Okay, so finally, there's two other things I want to share with you in sewing. This is a dress that I'm working on. I know, look at that color. Isn't that beautiful? So this, I did not use a pattern for this. I actually, you watch some sewing tutorials on YouTube, and oftentimes they'll say, to just draft your own shirt or dress or whatever. And all you have to do is find a well-fitting top and just cut around that top. And I just never thought that would work. But after looking through many, many videos, and I just keep seeing the same thing over and over again, I said, okay, let me give it a shot. Let me find a top that fits me really, really well, and let me just try to pattern that top and see if I can transfer it over to a sewn garment. So the top that I chose, that I had in my closet, is this little Liz Claiborne tank. I love this little thing. It's got these pretty little embroidered flowers on it, but it fits me so well. So I took my time and I folded it in half and made sure I had the shape that I needed, and I laid it out on the fabric, and I cut around it and gave myself some seam allowance. I think I gave myself like a 1/2-inch seam allowance on all sides. And because this top flows really well off of my hips, I just measured down the length that I would want for a dress, and using this fabric, this is what I came up with. This too is a 100% cotton African print Ankara fabric, and it's so pretty. Oh my goodness. It's got my favorite orange in it. It's got my golds and my browns and a little bit of off-white there. These facing here, I didn't put any interfacing in here, but I did cut this out with my pinking shears. And I just drafted the interfacing by drawing around the neckline after I had the dress cut out, which was really, really simple. I think in the future I will execute this a little differently. I would use either seam binding or try to figure out a way to not have this this selvage or this edge showing. I would like to have this completely encased in. And I think if I used, if I either made the seam binding or purchased the seam binding, that would happen. Then I moved on to the sleeves, the sleeve facing, which also I just drew out from the shape of the sleeve. And the intention was to just to put this on the inside, which is what you do with a facing, right? Just put it on the inside, and then I would have a beautiful finished edge. But I tried it on, and you know, I really like the way this little ruffled edge looks um, on the dress. It almost looks like it was intentionally made. It's really cute on. Can you see that? So I decided to use them as little ruffle sleeves instead of folding them in. And then that gives me just a little bit of coverage on my arm. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this lace that I picked up from Joann Fabrics, and I'm going to put that on the edge of the sleeve. Isn't that pretty? So I'm just going to take my time and put this on the edge of the sleeve. And I'll be all done. I'm trying to think. My only dilemma is what shoes I want to wear with this. I'm envisioning some really pretty dark brown leather sandals, but I don't have any dark brown leather sandals. I do have some off-white leather sandals. I'll work it out. Like I said, it's been a rough week, and I may just need some retail therapy, so who knows, maybe I'll treat myself to a pair of dark brown sandals. But anyway, I love this dress. It's cut on a slight A-line, and I wish I had actually put this on some pattern paper, so I'm going to have to, if it works out like I think it's going to work out, I'm going to actually cut that out on pattern paper, so I'll have it and I don't have to always trim around the my shirt. And the hem was also, I just did a single hem, and all the edges are finished with pinking shears, as you can see here. I could have got a little neater with that, but it's okay, nobody's gonna see it. So yeah, I hope to wear this soon. I don't think I'm going to wear it in time to have any pictures inserted, but if I by the next episode, if I'm able to get a picture taken in it, then I will definitely share that with you. Okay, finally, the one other thing I want to share with you is just this little basket that I put together for my kitchen. This is just a little fun basket filled with all handmade dish towels and little handmade tea towels. I'm actually using one of my tea towels here for my cup of tea this evening. I just realized I didn't tell you what day it is. Today is Wednesday, July 24th, I believe. No, I took my watch off, so I believe it's Wednesday, July 24th. Yeah. After work, long day. No, today is Tuesday, July 24th. I told you guys it's been a long week, but it's all good. So here's one of the tea towels that I made. I don't follow a pattern. I just use scraps of fabric and do a double fold on all edges and do mitered squares around the edges, and yeah, that's it. And then so when I finish them, I take them and I collect them. Now I got this idea from Sandy. You're gonna get tired of me saying Sandy in Seattle, my good buddy, good friend who I love dearly. We play off of each other and teach each other so many things. But when I went to stay with her, she just had a drawer full of these, and it's just nice to, when you fix yourself a cup of tea in your favorite coffee mug or tea mug or whatever, and just treat yourself to using a beautiful handmade dish towel. I don't know if you can hear my family or not. They're really, really chatty in the background, so I apologize for that. So yeah, so when I make them, I haven't made any in a while, but I thought it would be really fun to put them on display. And you just end up, like when you finish quilts or a garment and you have fabric left over, this one here, I really like these because this was made with what is called toweling. So basically, you purchase the fabric. I'm trying to think how it, I'm not sure if this is the width. Yeah, I think this is the width of the toweling. And so you can just purchase as much as you want. This is probably about 18 inches or so. And you just cut it as long as you want, your towels or whatever to be. And these I didn't finish off as fancy because, like I said, the edge is already finished when you purchase it. So the only thing you have to do is hem the portions that you cut. And I didn't even do a double hem on these because if you wash them enough, they're going to that edge is going to just straighten out on its own. I think I used pinking shears for these too. But yeah, so it's just fun. Instead of having to purchase towels whenever you need them, it's fun to just make them. Sometimes I feel like I want to be on my sewing machine, but I don't have the headspace to actually sew a garment or to do any quilting. But I always have a little bit of headspace to make a dish towel. Not a dish towel. Yeah, these are dish towels, drying towels, and tea towels. And so yeah, this is my collection of tea towels, hand towels, and dishcloths, crochet dishcloths. And this is just a placemat that I made. I actually took a class at the Three Little Birds Sewing Company. It must have been a couple of years ago. They had these classes. I think they were $15. Was it Sip and Sew? I'm pretty sure it involved wine. I think that's the name of it. And so it's fun. You get to go and pick out your fabrics, and these are the fabrics that I chose. This little abstract polka dot, and the name, this brand name, you probably are screaming it because you know the maker of the print. It is escaping me. And the back is solid, or the same color as the trim on the front. So this was fun. Me and a couple of girlfriends took this class one night, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so these are hanging out in my kitchen on top of the microwave, and it's just fun when I go in to be reminded of some of the beautiful things that I've made. And not just beautiful, but also useful. So, I'm pretty certain those are all the things I have to share with you today. I feel kind of scattered, actually. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast today. I hope to return in a couple of more weeks and share with you some more makes in knitting, crochet, sewing, yarn dyeing, weaving, who knows, who knows. But until that time, I hope that you have the best time in your crafting world. And remember, just a little bit of time every day spent crafting always makes for the best day ever. Thank you. Bye-bye.